Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, we can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't has no chill. I'm who I
Welcome back for another episode of TDG. I'm Sean.
And I'm King.
And tonight we're going to be reviewing the Kevin Samuels 911 phone call. I'm sure you guys have probably heard it by now. Maybe you guys some of you guys haven't heard it. But we're just going to throw our hat into the ring basically and give our thoughts about it. King?
That's all I've got to add too, man.
All right.
Let's check it out.
Well, before ado's any way further, let's jump into it.
Okay, is this a house or an apartment?
Oh my god, I don't fucking know. It's Kevin Samuels.
You don't know if it's a house or apartment?
Oh, it's an apartment.
Okay, what's the apartment number?
I know. I just need to give him CPR. Just please, just ask for
You need an ambulance?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you listening?
Hold on, ma'am. I have to connect you with the ambulance.
It's Kevin fucking.
Now, right away, what are you picking up on?
So the girl's in a state of a panic. All right, the woman, the lady, and the part that made me go, "Wait, what?" And this is in the moment was when the 911 operator, who seems calm, all right, she seems respectful but very direct, and asking, because she asked her a question: "Is it a house or an apartment?" And she responded, "I don't know." And I'm like, that's a pretty softball type question that whether you're in a state of distress or not, you should be able to answer. So I'm picking up on a panicked individual, panicked woman, and a 911 operator that's very direct and to the point, if you will. Not a lot of empathy though, but
exactly. So here's what I was picking up on. Like, you're right with the woman being panicked. I'm gonna give her some leeway there as far as not knowing the apartment she's in. Cause I'm assuming that Kevin Samuels being the guy he is, and I've never met him before, but I would assume that he probably has his choice of women. She probably hasn't been to his apartment that many times. Might have been her first time, may have been the second time. So maybe she doesn't exactly know the apartment number.
okay.
There's people's houses I go to now. I don't know what their address is, but definitely with the 911 operator, she's definitely being very short, very curt with her. I think very unprofessional. Because when you're in a state of panic, you're not always going to be, the clearest in your mind of handling yourself. You're looking to get that person assistance as soon as possible. And she's cutting off the girl, as she's trying to tell her or give her information. If anything, if it were me, I'd be like, okay, what's the problem? And she gives you, she's telling me what's going on. Okay, where are you located, ma'am? You have to have that sense of empathy in your voice when you're dealing with a situation like that. But it's just like, for her, it's probably like another day. She doesn't care. Oh, well, the person may or may not die. Or maybe the girl even knows who Kevin Samuels is, and she's like, all right, I guess I gotta do my job. It could be any one of those things. But I definitely feel like if someone's calling into 911 and saying that someone collapsed and their breathing is erratic, whatever, you need to go into a state of, I need to get this person assistance as quick as I can, and also trying to calm them down. That's your job, at that specific job. It's just like when you go to McDonald's and they say, like, you got that person who doesn't want to be there, and you're like, if you got an attitude, why are you here at McDonald's? Why are you working this job if that's the way you're going to act? Go find a different job where you're not dealing with the public. You're dealing with the public in a sense where people, basically, their life is in your hands for that moment in time. And it seems like she doesn't care. So if that's the issue, if you're burnt out from your job of trying to get people assistance who might be on the verge of dying, find a different job.
Find a different job. Now, I've also got something else to add too. I don't know if they've released the identity yet of the individual or the 911 operator.
The individual they have. I read an article. I forget her name. At first I heard she was a Caucasian girl, but by reading her name, I don't think she's Caucasian. I think they said she's actually mixed with like Latina or something like that.
That was going to be my point. She sounded like she had some type of Hispanic ethnicity, and the 911 operator sounded like a young African American.
Yeah, that's what pretty much everyone's going with. They're saying it's a African American woman, and people are kind of saying like, this is kind of what Kevin Samuels has been talking about the whole time about your attitude.
That's an interesting point.
And your attitude bleeds through, whether you realize it or not.
Oh, 100%. Oh, don't even get me started on that topic. We could do a whole episode on attitude and communication skills from certain ethnicities. But that's all I'm gonna say on that right now.
Right. And that's something, if you're not a people person, don't work for 911. You know, your attitude is going to be everything. And I wouldn't be surprised if this girl gets fired.
Yeah.
Because it was totally unprofessional. But let's keep it going. Oops.
Samuel,
I
please.
understand, but I have to connect you with the ambulance.
Are you okay?
EMS, what's the address of your emergency? Is he awake?
No, he has an irregular rhythm. I can feel it. He's breathing in and out, but he has an irregular rhythm. It's probably his heart. So I need you to get here with the fucking.
In Atlanta,
Stop
what's
him.
on my ma'am?
Come on, Kelly, you got it. Oh, come on, just try to breathe. Come on, you got it. Come on, think about your mom. Think about your daughter. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
I'm sorry.
2, 3, 4.
I need to call the front desk to get an AED. He's not going to make it.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1. But ma'am, I don't want you to disconnect because something can happen while you disconnect, ma'am.
I understand, but I'm saying I need an AED. If they have one downstairs, I need to get them up here now.
Are you able
So
to speak to the neighbor, ma'am, real
I'm
quick,
going
and
to
ask
up
them
with
to help
you.
you?
I hang up with you, or you call them in the front desk to give me a fucking AED right here now.
Okay.
He's turning blue. I cannot wait any longer.
So that was a clip from TMZ. I did see another one where was a bit more to it than that.
Okay.
And basically apparently she's a nurse. So this whole time she's administering CPR. And apparently the guy on the phone, who was a lot nicer, according to the situation, you know, he handled it better. I guess he was trying to get her to go downstairs and either get help or find out the door number to where the apartment. And she was like, I'm not going to leave him. I'm going to keep giving him CPR.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, and
That's tough.
right, and he was saying that, well, we need to send the paramedics and the firemen there, and it's going to burn time if they have to go to the front desk to ask, where does Mr. Kevin Samuels, what apartment is he in?
Yes.
I don't think it would burn that much time, honestly. I think she did the right thing. Keep administering CPR to the person who's having a cardiac arrest or whatever the term was that he was having. Because if she walks away to go get help from downstairs or inform them, who's to say she even goes down to the lobby and someone's even there?
Yeah. She
Just wasted that time. That time she could have been giving life-saving CPR maneuvers. That's what it's called. So yeah, that's what was left out of the clip. I might try to find it and add it in post.
Hello, ma'am. Is this a house, apartment, or a business?
It's an apartment. Please, it's the resident.
What's the apartment number?
I don't know. He just asked to find Kevin Samuels. It's up, and I'm not sure what it is, but just he's not breathing. I'm trying to give him CPR, and he's breathing now, but I think he has a irregular rhythm. Please hurry. I'm a nurse, but I'm trying to give him CPR.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We need to know exactly what apartment number to go to.
I don't know, but it's the front desk.
What's that phone number you're calling us from, ma'am? Is he awake?
No, he has an irregular rhythm. I can feel it. He's breathing in and out, but he has an irregular rhythm. It's probably his heart. So I need you to get here with.
In Atlanta,
Stop
what's
him.
on my ma'am? Atlanta, I'm operator 936. Just requesting fire and PD for 9 Echo 1. 9 Echo 1.
Hurry, he's turning blue.
I'm 7, man, hold on. I'm 7910.
Oh my God.
Okay, ma'am, we have help en route. We have fire and EMS en route, but we need to know that apartment number, ma'am. It'll take longer if we have to ask the front desk, ma'am. We need to know what
I'm
apartment
not
number
going to
you're
stop
in.
giving, you just asked the front desk. I'm not going to stop giving him CPR. Just ask the front desk.
Thoughts?
Yeah, no, man. It's depending on who you are, what you do, you can be prepared for certain situations. But when that initial shock or trauma of something occurs, it's easy for people like us to come back after the fact and kind of quarterback what went down. What I used to do when I was in the military, we would do something like an after action report after every mission. A lot of the times it was boring because everything went the way that it needed to go. But when we had those missions where things didn't go right, it was always important to kind of talk about it. understand it so that in the future, if something like that happened again, you would be more prepared. Right. So I would expect somebody, if she was a nurse or in the medical profession, to, I mean, obviously she panicked because somebody that she cared about, right. And you heard her earlier in the clip was like, it's Kevin F. and Samuels. Right. She was trying to display an urgency of, hey, this is somebody that's important, right? Or this, like, you should know who this is. You should be more urgent. I think everybody does that. Like, even if it's like my mom, for example, I'd be like, it's my mom. I need somebody here ASAP. So, but I think she used that in his name recognition to try to get more urgency out of the 911 people. It's always hard to say that, I could have done better, because who knows? Like, when you're in that situation, you're trying to get things handled and figured out. And if I'm being straight up, him being with a nurse in that moment was probably one of the best things, because who knows what triggered it or what happened. Like, and I'd almost hate to joke at this point, but it's like, if he wasn't with her, was he, were they doing something that triggered the event? I have a buddy who came on to one of my podcasts and talked about how he had a heart attack in the middle of having sex. I get it. I don't know if that was the situation that Kevin was in, but on the flip side of that, imagine being her. Like, let's say this was a normal day for him. Would he have just gone on and maybe just rested, playing out the rest of his live stream podcast episode, and then would have woken up alive the next day? Like, did he ingest and take something because he knew he was about to get it on? Like Blue Chew, hey Blue Chew, if you want to sponsor us, hit us up.
Or for him's, or any of them.
There's so many different factors and equations, like, but she's gonna be traumatized. Her, if we know people, her name is likely gonna go through the mud. People are gonna blame her, like, just like how I could easily sit here and say, maybe if he would have just had a day without extra stuff, he'd be alive the next day. Who knows? Or hey, his cardiac event or whatever it was still could have happened. Right. But at least he had a chance with somebody else around, and that person also having medical knowledge and background stuff as well. But ultimately, he didn't make it. But I think it does highlight, like, that 911 operator, because there was stark contrast and between the 911 operator and the short part that they played versus the ambulance or the paramedics that she got linked to, and how he was able to communicate in a more empathetic way.
Exactly.
So I mean, it sucks, man. In my opinion, I think KS was leading the charge in highlighting, because look, he wasn't saying anything different, but he was being vocal about his observations of what was going on out there in the dating market between men and women. People only want to highlight and talk about how he talked to women, but
not only that, he talked to men the same way.
Exactly, but he talked to guys the same way. And I'd always challenge this: was he wrong? In anything he talked about, was he wrong? So I'm glad that this information came out. I'm glad that people are having conversations about this as well. It's going to be a trending topic, a topic of conversation because of who he was and everybody's opinion on it. Right. But nothing too crazy about this, other than I think that this lady's she's gonna have to live with that. Like, not that she did anything directly, but she's going to be forever linked to his passing of somebody that his star was, shining and still rising.
Oh yeah. And definitely a portion of what they call survivor's guilt. Yes. Even though she was in probably no danger of herself dying, that she couldn't save him. Because I've been in a similar situation. I'll share it with you guys real quick. And everyone thinks they know how they're going to act, or react in a situation like that. For me, it happened with my dad. My dad, his birthday was yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't know. Yesterday or the day before.
Hey, Pop's good. Happy birthday, man.
And he turned 78. But this was probably a good 10 years ago, something like that. So I was at my parents' house, And I was showing my dad like a clip on YouTube or something like that. It was a funny video. Actually, no, I remember what it was. It was a clip of it was an African video clip of these people that were like pranking people because they had a person in a coffin.
Okay.
And the guy would like pretty much pop out of the coffin. And it was funny.
Hello, I want to go to Cape Town.
Cape Town?
Yes, Cape Town.
From there, we're going to the funeral in Wellington.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
yes,
you cannot put that
put
in
the
the
coffin
taxi,
in the
man.
back here.
Hey, what you do, you can't
Okay,
that
put
in
him
the
in.
taxi. You can't take this
Yes.
coffin in there. People in my taxi, Joe. Nakubeta wena. Take this coffin out of my taxi.
Sorry.
Suka wena, suka.
Okay, put it down. Yes, take him out. Okay, let's take him to.
And my dad had a cold at the time, and I showed it to him, and he started laughing. In the back of my head, because I could kind of hear his laugh was a little bit different. I was like, what if something happens? Because this doesn't sound good. And I've heard people like the little laugh or they'll start coughing and the heart just gives out.
Oh, wow.
And basically, that's exactly what happened. He was just laughing, and then he stopped, and then he collapsed.
Damn.
Just like a domino, basically. And I just looked at him for a second. I froze.
Well, standing? Was he sitting?
He was standing.
Okay.
Standing up. And he was like, probably about right there, you know. And even that close, I didn't even reach out to even break his fall, nothing. So only thing I could do was yell for my mom. Luckily, my mom's a nurse, and still don't know what it was, but he came to probably a good 30 seconds later. But I thought I killed my dad by showing him a video. And that's to say that, like, you don't know how you're going to react in those situations when it's a loved one.
Yeah.
You know, you think you know what you're going to do because you're thinking clear-minded right now. But when that panic sets in, you don't know.
Yes. Ooh, do we have enough time for me give a story time as well?
Sure, go ahead.
When I was in training here at the Department of Veterans Affairs in 2013, 2014-ish, one of my coworkers who I'm real tight with, we were all sitting in class. We didn't have any of the instructors around. And we were all just kind of chit-chatting or whatnot. And this guy's a combat wounded veteran. He's had various surgeries or whatnot. He's lucky to be alive to this date. Well, we're all laughing, hee-hawing, having a good time. He gets up, says one word, and then drops to the ground. Nobody was close enough to kind of catch him, and he started having a seizure. We had, I think, about 12 people around at the time. So for him to go from looking normal, like no slurred speech or anything, you know, crazy, to then just get up, stand up, take a step, and then drop and start, you know, shaking. It took kind of 2 seconds for people to kind of catch what was going on.
Right.
And then I immediately sprung into action. I've never seen somebody have a seizure, but I knew looking at him, something ain't right. So I told somebody, hey, come over here, roll him this way. And then I ran and sprinted out to the front desk because we had these officers, security, and like they don't just do security, but they coordinate a couple of other different things. And I mean, in a full sprint, ran, went to that front desk and said, call 911, somebody's having a seizure.
Yeah.
And then ran back to see kind of how everybody else galvanized. So in that time that I ran out and ran back, I'm not quite entirely sure who kind of took charge and you know, maybe assessed and understood, you know, kind of what the situation was. But I do recall from the time that he stood up and hit the ground, it was everybody looked at everybody to see what was going on.
Right.
And it felt about like one potato, two potato before anybody in the room did anything. Now we had people that was able to galvanize and folks took action and the guy ended up being okay. But it's one of those that, yeah, just like you said, like in that moment, sometimes it takes your brain a potato or two to be like, wait, what? And in your situation, man, that would have been cool to show a video, and then 5 seconds later, there's an event happening.
Mm-hmm.
Whew,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Hey, so do you still show videos to your dad?
I do, but I watch what I show him now. You know, if he starts laughing too much, I take it away. So say, hey, not this time. You ain't going nowhere yet.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well, happy belated birthday to your pops.
Thanks.
Hey, to y'all who are watching, you've likely probably already seen the content, but if you're catching it for the first time or you want to give a different take, put it down in the comment section of this YouTube channel and let us know what you thought about the 911 call, or share a story that you have of something traumatic happening and then what you thought about how things went down. Were you one of the ones that sprung into action, or did you see somebody else come in and kind of take charge and lead the way to try to save somebody's life? Share the story. Let us know.
Yep. And leave a thumbs up if you know that you would react in the right way when something like that would happen.
Absolutely. All right, man. Do we have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Bet. I'm out.
Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, you can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't has no chill. I'm who I are, I'm who I is. Taylor Susan, I play the part. Buckify, how you mesmerize. Black Austin pies, man, that I'm stupid. Then again, oh so clever. On my loony, pull that lever. Talk my shit, I'm talking hella flow, baby, you know.